Ukrainian troops had advanced about 1 kilometer towards the battered eastern town of Bakhmut. The artillery units shelling Bakhmut have seen real progress in driving the Russians away. Ukrainian fighters told a CNN team reporting from the Eastern Front. The Bakhmut area has been a center of battle during the Russian wars. It is now one of the directions in which Ukrainian troops have launched their counteroffensive in early June. Ukrainian troops are advancing every day at least 500 meters. Despite lacking military hardware like F-16 fighter jets, Armed Forces Commander Valery Zaluzhny told the Washington Post on June 30. The capture of Bakhmut in May, after the longest and bloodiest fighting of the war, is Russia's only significant territorial gain so far in 2023. Wagner's mercenaries, who had led the siege of the city for months, claimed victory in May and quickly withdrew, passing responsibility for holding it over to regular Russian units. Video footage shows fighters from the 28th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, with the support of artillery fire and mortars, seizing the positions of the Russian occupiers on one of the landings south of Bakhmut. The unit's press service announced this on its page on the social network Facebook, publishing a related video edited from the footage taken by an unmanned aerial vehicle, whose operator corrected our actions and shots. However, it's clear that the short clip doesn't show the entire fight. The video shows several accurate shell and mine explosions near the interventionists, after which the 5 survivors begin to flee. One of them was shot. His minions didn't stop for him. People's Deputy and Frontline volunteer Yuri Misyagin, in the comments under the same video, indicates that these are positions near Kurdyumivka. Britain's defense ministry says Russian troops in Ukraine have almost no reserves to reinforce the sector around the town of Bakhmut, despite intensive fighting. Last week's fighting around the now ruined city was some of the fiercest on the entire front. Having died down in June, the ministry said in its daily intelligence report on Twitter. But it said the Russian leadership might find it politically unacceptable to abandon Bakhmut, which has been one of Russia's few territorial gains in the past 12 months. In another video, fighters of the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroy the Russian invaders' barracks in the village of Paraskoviyvka north of Bakhmut with 2 American-guided JDAM aerial bombs. In the video taken by the control drone, you can see how the bombs hit the 2 houses where the invaders' base is located. The JDAM is a conventional aerial bomb which has attached wings and tail with a navigation system, which makes it highly accurate. They are launched from airplanes. They can weigh from 230 to 960 kilograms and range from 40 to 75 kilometers. The HIMARS-type reactive salvo fire system with high-precision GMRLS shells also destroyed 2 BM-27 Uragan anti-aircraft missiles of the Russian invaders at firing positions in the direction of Zaporizhzhia along with their crews. People's Deputy, Frontline volunteer and blogger Yuri Misyagin announced this on his page on the social network Twitter, publishing a corresponding video. The video was recorded by an unmanned aerial vehicle, whose operators found a fat target, transferred the precise geodetic coordinates to the HIMARS calculations, and recorded the results of their direct hit. In the north, Ukraine has pushed towards Uragan and Zaporizhzhia. Heading south, they moved on to Klishchivka and Kurdyumivka amidst a landscape filled with abandoned coal mines and giant slag heaps overgrown with trees. Amidst an up-and-down battle against enemy perceptions and positions, a team of Ukrainian special forces finds things looking promising for their mission to strike at Russian lines north of Druzhba. At another point on the front line, a combat medic complained to the BBC that Russia had plenty of time to strengthen its defenses and had sizable troop numbers due to rising losses in Ukraine. They came to the conclusion that even if Ukraine could move the front line back, perhaps by several tens of kilometers, it would be difficult to reduce Russia's overall strategic control over eastern and southeastern Ukraine. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on July 9 that Russia had lost 234,040 soldiers in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 600 casualties that the Russian forces have suffered over the past few days. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces said in its evening report that Russian troops made an unsuccessful attempt to advance in the Lyman sector, as artillery shelling killed at least 8 civilians and injured 13 in the eastern city. The city of Lyman is the main railway junction in the eastern region of Donetsk. It was initially captured by Russian forces, but was recaptured by Ukrainian troops in October. The last day, in the direction of Kherson, missile and artillery units of the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroyed 37 intruders, 152mm towing guns Hyacinth B and Mista B, anti-aircraft missile complex Buk, an electronic warfare station, and 5 units armored and invader vehicles. An observation point on one of the islands in the Dnipro Delta and 2 ships of the Russian invaders were also destroyed. This was reported by the press service of the Southern Operational Command in a morning summary published on its page on the social network Facebook. Mercenaries from Yevgeny Prigozhin's Wagner group are preparing to move to Belarus under the terms of a deal that diffuses their rebellion against Russia's military leadership. A senior group commander was quoted as saying, "Since the June uprising, when Wagner's warriors briefly captured the southern Russian city and marched towards Moscow, the whereabouts of Prigozhin and his mercenaries have been unclear." The status of the deal between Russian dictator Vladimir Putin and Wagner group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin is unclear. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, said in its assessment on July 8. According to ISW, Putin has continued to allow Wagner and Prigozhin to operate in Russia. The nearly 25,000 Wagner fighters who led and participated in the armed uprising appear to have complete freedom of movement within Russia.